Hey coaches, Coach Eric and Coach Mark here, coachestrainingroom.com. We're here for the live Mondays with Coach Mark. Thanks so much for joining us. As always, put your questions in the comments. We really appreciate you being here, and we're here to help you, and you also help us as well by communicating back and forth. We'd love to hear how you're doing overall during this crazy time. And a lot of us are trapped inside unless you're an essential worker here in the United States. Mark is in the UK, and he'll go in a little bit about what's happening there. But so we always welcome questions in the comments, and as always, we're here to help you as much as possible. So today's topic is coaching a club and organization. Coach Mark's going to touch a little bit on that, and then we'll get right into some Q&As, because we know that you coaches might have some questions for us, and we'll try the best we can to help. So my name's Coach Eric, and I've been coaching for over 10 years. I love it. Coach Mark and I started Coach's Training Room about over 7 years, almost 8 years ago now, and just have had fun doing it, and really built a great community of coaches that have benefited from our done for you sessions, our webinars, our PDFs, our physical and ebook version of our coaching books as well. So Coach Mark, how are you doing over there?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, everyone's I think we're all in the same boat at the minute. We're just kind of making do with the situation that we're in. And me personally, I've been trying to take the time to perhaps just expand my own knowledge, maybe read a little bit more, because the situations we find ourselves in day to day, there's always something for tomorrow that we can put off then. But I think we're all finding ourselves a little bit more time on our hands. So anything I can do to avoid the news at the moment is time well spent. So I've been spending a little bit of time reading books and gardening and anything else I can fill my time with. So, but yeah, doing good, absolutely. Just to introduce myself again, my name is Coach Mark. I'm from Manchester, which is south of Manchester in the UK. My coaching journey has been 10 years now, and it's taken me across to the States and also coaching back here in the UK. And for me personally, my own coaching beliefs are built from a set of standards that I've seen from other coaches, and taking that and applying it to my own methods. So for a Coach's Training Room, what Eric and I have built over the years now is something that is not only session plans that are easy to digest, but also something that you can create, adapt to your own specific coaching style, and take it to your own sessions. So we're proud of everything we've done over the time, but again, we're always learning. So these are important for us as just as much as they are for you. Just sessions to perhaps talk about anything soccer related, anything we can do. So that's what we'll do today. Obviously, there's not much soccer going on just at the moment, so it's important to we can't talk about too much stuff that's topical right now, because there's nothing topical right now. So it's just important to perhaps refocus on some of the more important parts that are never going to go away. The foundational building blocks of us as a coach.
Awesome. Yeah, and again, just to reiterate, please post any questions. Let us know where you're from. Just we'd love to see where everybody's from joining us here. We got quite a few coaches on with us. Thanks so much. And again, there might be a slight delay in the comments coming through. So if it takes a little bit to get to those, we thank you for your patience on that. And just say hi, where you're watching from. And we'd like to see where you're from, who you are, and what age group you coach, and then any questions you have, of course.
Yeah, for sure. And any specifics to the age group that you're coaching as well, feel free. We do want to create a safe community here where people feel okay to ask these questions, and other coaches can answer. It's not just ourselves that can answer these questions, because sometimes there are 100 ways to arrive at the same potential destination as coaches. And that's how we learn, how we grow. So I may be somewhat right, another coach may be also somewhat right. So it's interesting just to bounce those ideas sometimes. So really the topic, and I'm going to try and just we're just going to ad lib a little bit tonight. But what I was going to talk about perhaps is just coaching at a club, because we focus so much on being a coach and what being a coach means to you, your own ideas, your own methodologies. But being a coach in a club or an organization, sometimes you have to find the happy balance between all of the things, what you want and what the club is striving for, perhaps. So just to discuss a little bit about coaching, the reasons why we do it, I don't need to spell them all out for you. It's very, very rewarding. It's something that's there's a reason you've gone down this path, and you're getting a lot out of the fact that you are preparing these players for the future. You're sculpting their skill set, their mentality, a bunch of other things here. So there's a reason you're doing this, and there's a reason that you're giving back in this way, because it is very, very rewarding for yourself as a coach. But how does that necessarily fit into an organization? Because what you've got here are potentially, if I just talk about any club here, a club has a certain direction that they want to go in most cases here. We're talking about a direction. We want to play this brand of football, of soccer. We want to create this type of person come the end of it, and we want to build our coaches. We want to have the best staff, so we want to continue their education. So as a coach, you need to ultimately buy into the club values. It might be that they don't necessarily completely align with what you're doing, but ultimately, if we've got a club here and we're talking about, okay, we want to create a holistic approach that is going to go right from the U5s all the way through U6, 7, 8, 9, 10s, 12s, 14, 16, so on and so forth, because they want X amount of players to be going a certain place. They want to be playing travel stuff and competing really highly, and we want to compete on a wider scale. Then everyone has to have a little bit of buy-in as we go. Ultimately, if you've got 100 different coaching mantras without having a set of values to work towards, it's all a load of people pulling in different directions. So it's important that yourself as a coach at a club acknowledge the values of the club and try and adapt your own skill set to that, because you see it at the professional level as well. There's coaches that come into clubs who it may last for 6 months, it may last for a year, but it just doesn't work out. And somewhere there is something happening too quick for all of the things that a coach needs to do, because you've got pressures from all sides. So you've got, as a coach, you have pressures from the coordinators, the directors of the clubs. You've got pressures of yourself. You want the best for all the players. Obviously, the players' expectations of yourself as well is a pressure, and then of course the parents too. So you are kind of at the middle of this, and you need to make all of those things align somehow. And sometimes the timing isn't always right. You talk at the professional level now. There's fans paying every day or every week to come see this team play, so they're all technically speaking entitled to an opinion. And it's the same with youth soccer as well. Everyone is entitled to an opinion, and quite often they will give you their opinion. But it is how you manage those expectations as well. Is how you're going to come out of this well. So we talk a little bit about the pressures. So the club are going to want you to be potentially playing a certain brand of soccer. You've got the player base that you have, which you need to mold and make sure that you're sticking to your own core values, making sure that you're imparting the knowledge onto those players. And you're going to have to deal with a sea of other, a sea of other things as well, like, potentially losing players through whatever it will be. Maybe they're moving on to different clubs, they're moving areas. There's America isn't the only country in the world that has multi-sports, available to players throughout their school life. So there's all these factors that you're going to have to manage, as well as the kind of club pressures and instilling those club values onto them.
Yeah. Hey, Coach Mark, I'm sure some of the coaches are thinking this and are wondering how long can you give an outline of a core value or an example, like how long should a core value statement be, or what would you recommend for the core values? How many core values?
I mean, for
an example for a typical club.
At club level, there could be a number of things. So some club values would revolve around everybody having equal playing time and everyone improving their base level of their skills. So it might not be, you might come into a situation where you're a super competitive coach and you're wanting to raise players to a certain level and you want to be competing on all fronts. That might not be the club's core value. The club's core value could just be to have people play in the sport, enjoying the sport, continue in the sport, which is absolutely fine. If you're appealing to a wide player base, then that might be the way to go. You could also come into certain clubs who have a brand of soccer that they want to play. For example, there are coaches. For example, Wayne Harrison, who we know well, he has a particular brand of 1-2 touch soccer that he wants to instill through the years, and it is, if when you can get things going, you can get things rolling. It's a superb way to be, because it makes you think quickly before the ball comes to you. So there are certain clubs that will go down that route, where there are coaches that might come in who just want to they have their own ideas, their own methods, and that sort of goes against what they want. So you have to find that happy balance. That's those ultimately, as a club, you need people to buy into that and to feed that message out further. So you come into, it needs to be a good fit for yourself as a coach when you go working for a club or an organization.
That's what I was thinking of too. Is you have to, when you're building a club, you're bringing on other coaches, and then they have to buy in, like you said, to your core values. That's so important. And
so difficult
that everybody's on board. And then also the difficulty, I think, would be as a club is how do you keep that top of mind for all the coaches within your club as the years go on? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you reiterate, okay, and because we all need a refocus, we all need a realignment of where we're at, because I mean, obviously the bigger your club, the harder it will be to keep those core values together. And I want you to touch on that a little bit. And then also, we got a lot of coaches joining. I just want to give some shout outs. Thanks so much, Coach Mahmoud Tamer. This is your first time. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us live. Thanks for posting in the comments. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them down there as well. Oh, you're from Egypt. Wow, awesome. And he works at Paris Saint-Germain Academy in Egypt with a team, U9. Excellent.
Great to have you.
Yeah, great to have you. We got Coach Proud. I might be sorry about botching the names here. If I'm sending it wrong, I apologize up front. But Coach Proud Shoko, he's from South Africa, and he coaches men's U23. We got welcome. He also has a question. I'll ask in a Coach Andrew on, currently coaching U13, U16s. Thanks so much for joining us, Coach Andrew. Brian Sproul is joining as well. And we got, hey, Brian. Familiar names here. Coach Zibby, what's happening? Coach Bora. And now Coach Proud has a very, very current question here, which all of us are asking ourselves, is kind of when this is all going to be over. And when this, how can we, so his question, let me just ask it step by step here. So Coach Proud's question is, how can I get my players back on form with the long break? And we were left with just 8 games of the league before coronavirus. What are your recommendations, please? So that's a loaded question. And I know a lot of us are in that exact same boat. So that's something we'll touch on here. Absolutely. So Coach Mark, you want to touch on a couple of those things, and we can just go back and forth, and I'll keep track of the questions coming in.
Yeah, for sure. Excuse me. Just to while we were on the point, Eric, you were talking about actually I'll dive into that question just in a second. But just to kind of go back to what we were just on there, you were mentioning specifically when the club grows and reinforcing the message. I suppose ultimately it's about having so you need to try and weave in as much of your values into everything that you're doing as possible. So there's going to be times where, you know, when you get those the bigger the club goes, the more the layers that you have to put in with directors of coaching for certain age groups, and then breaking them down further still. It's important to make sure that the message is authentic and is repeated with a little bit of steel as well. So if you're fixed on your views, and don't get me wrong, there's areas where you kind of this is fluid as well, so you shift to whatever the current landscape is. But ultimately, if you've got the ideas and the methods, and you're trying to reinforce those at all times, a little bit of steel. So being authentic with your conversations that you're having, and making sure that you are the best mirror of what you want to see as well. Ultimately, that breeds loyalty, and in breeding that loyalty, you're reinforcing the message, and that's going to travel down further down those lines. So just to round off on that before, because I lose my train of thought too quickly. So I just wanted just go back to that. I suppose my honest answer to Coach Proud would be, everybody is going to be in that same situation. So I guess it is how people are actually coming out of the other side of this. We're all going to be starting cold. So how prepared are we in that period of time? How much have we been encouraging our teammates to be, you know, kicking the ball around basically? But then also you're going to have to, I suppose, I'm going to talk from experience now here. It's about creating perhaps that more that siege mentality. Okay, so this was against us. Everything's against us right now. How can we unite as a team and make sure that we're actually pulling together in this instance to come out stronger the other side? And I don't want to sound too cheesy with all that, but ultimately it is a little bit about you know, pulling together. We're in a situation where everybody is in the same situation, so they're starting cold. If you're instilling the message that these other teams, they're going to be practicing, they're going to be making sure that, you know, they might not be practicing together, but they're going to be making sure that their skills are sharp in between sessions. They're going to make sure that they are, you know, match ready tomorrow. Whenever the world goes back to some sort of normality, these players are going to be match ready tomorrow. So can we be match ready tomorrow? Can we make sure that we're still honing our skills at home, but we're still watching breakdowns of games, we're still watching match analysis, because it's all learning, and that the best part of that part is it's fun as well. I could sit and watch soccer reruns all day. So just instilling that message and keeping people engaged and playing as well, kicking the ball around.
And I have seen a lot of coaches get their team on Zoom and just do some fun, maybe a game on Zoom, and because you can have, I don't know what the limit is, but you can have a ton of people on, a ton of your players on, and just make it fun, just so every connecting again, you know, connecting, because I know it's weird, it's all through video, but still that connection and seeing each other. And oh, sorry, the internet said unstable, so hopefully it's all right. There we go.
It looks back. Yeah, it's back now.
But yeah, it looks like we're back. So what was I gonna say? Zoom.com is what I would use. My wife and I use it every day. Mark uses it, so it's been very, very good for us as far as a good video platform if you're gonna have multiple people on. So I would recommend that, or just going live on your Facebook as well. But Zoom, you can have multiple people on and see each other, where Facebook, I don't believe you can. There's a limit to how many you can have on at once. So I would do that, and just to say hi, maybe see how everybody's doing, show them that you care. And also a lot of well, us included, we're just polishing up a package that can be done by players at home. So because we've had a lot of coaches request that, because during this time, what can we do? Well, we have put together an online package that you can have pass along to your players, that they can watch and learn at home we specifically created it for tight spaces that you can keep your players fine-tuning their skills with always getting those touches in, getting their moves in, learning new moves, keeping their dribbling skills fine-tuned as well. So we're polishing that up. We'll definitely let you know when that's all set and ready to go. But that's also something that you can do, is pass along these resources, not just ours, but whatever, if you see some resources on Facebook that you feel this would be great for my players, pass them along to them, send them emails or texts or however you communicate. TeamSnap, I know that's a good resource. You can send out a text, one time, and TeamSnap, and they have some features in there that are really good for communicating with your team. But make sure you're touching base with as many of your players as you can, as well, as I would say. So we got Coach Zibby on saying, well done. Thanks so much for joining us. We got Coach Gary on, and Coach Gary's from Scotland, EKRR Youth 2012s, East Kilbride.
East Kilbride, absolutely. Yeah. Awesome.
Great.
Thanks for joining us, Gary. And Zibby, Zibby's just made a really good point there. How you doing, Zibby? Just saying that obviously video analysis to make sure that we understand how we want to play when we get back to the pitch, and obviously now being the perfect time to do so. So if you're in a situation,
good reminder, Zibby. Yeah.
If you're in a situation where you have either all game analysis of your own team, but also watching any games that you can, there's tons that are able to access at the minute. Just watching games, understanding how certain things happen at certain times, and realizing, even just as I mentioned in the week prior, if you watch, I don't know, you could take 20 goals from the last week or whatever, last time there was soccer played in the MLS, for example, or any league, the Premier League, any other league. You take 20 goals and you watch them again, and you watch them with a different set of eyes. So you don't focus on where the ball travels now. You don't focus on the ball traveling to the player who shot and scored the goal. Watch the movement of the other players, and you're going to see it with a whole different pair of eyes, and you're going to see how you could be benefiting your teammates just watching that. So it might be, as a coach, you take this opportunity to take the top 10 goals of the week from last year, or just go back through the archives whenever and say, okay, watch the movement of the players now. And if you forward that video on to the players, they can sit and watch that, and they can see how those movements happen, because it's great us telling them as coaches, but it's another thing to actually see it done by the professionals to see what the actual end product could be. So that's a really useful time to do so now.
Yeah, I've also seen a lot of coaches throw out challenges to their teams. Keep them motivated, keep that drive going. Oh, a challenge. Everybody likes a challenge. Players especially like a challenge. Who can juggle, or it could be anything. Just one example obviously would be juggling challenge. Okay, who can juggle left and right foot? Who can juggle the most with their thighs, with their head, left and right feet. Okay, make it fun for them. There's plenty other examples, but that's just one that came top of mind that I've seen out there. People are doing challenges with, obviously, the toilet paper challenge. Silly, that's just so fun in the meantime. But as we're going through all this, it brings a smile to our face, because we do have to smile and laugh during this time as well, because it's such a crazy unknown. But so there's been a lot of that. But give some serious challenges with the soccer ball to your players as well. I think that's a good one that coaches are doing, that I see some good responses with, that their players are doing it, and it's creating a team bond in a way. Even during the time you can't even have in-person practices, it's creating a team bond still online.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I wasn't going to dive into too much detail with the topic today. It was good to get a couple of questions on, so appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I guess unless we've got some more, I'm just looking through there. Yeah.
If anybody has any more questions, go ahead and post them below. If you have any questions, even if we're not live, we'll still check those questions coming in the comments. Even if you know, you have something to share about your experience right now, what you're going through, just let us know. We'd love to hear from you. If it's a specific question on our topic today about clubs and organizations, or we hit on core values, if it's you have a specific question on that, feel free to post it in the comments. We'll definitely get back to you on that through Facebook Messenger or email. And also, yeah, so we appreciate all you coaches joining live. Again, share. Thanks for the hearts, the loves, and it also brings this video in front of more coaches, more people. So the more we get out there, the more coaches can be educated, and the more we learn from one another. So thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again, if not before, we'll definitely see you Monday, 5 p.m. next week. And stay strong, stay positive, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.